12 crore voters go to the polls on the 8th of February to elect Pakistan's next government. Now, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is looking to return for what could be a record fourth term. What happens after the elections? Joining me to discuss this are Ambassador Yogesh Gupta, Professor Sanjay K Bhardwaj, and my colleague Gulam Jeelani. Ambassador Gupta, what do you make of the Pakistan elections? What are you hearing? Is there a lot of optimism about the way things are going to pan out there, given the fact that the military seems to have already made up its mind who it wants as Prime Minister?
Well, what one is hearing is that the elections are sort of taking place along the expected lines, which means that the Pakistan military has been favoring Mr. Nawaz Sharif's party, and they've been trying to suppress the party of Mr. Imran Khan. And the supporters of Mr. Imran Khan, they have been put under various sorts of restrictions. They are being discouraged from, their leaders have been compelled to dissociate themselves from the party, compelled to leave the party. And then restrictions are being put, obstacles are being created in their way to participate in the voting. The bat symbol, the cricket bat symbol, which Imran Khan wanted, that has been denied to him.
Right.
So Imran Khan's party is at a very severe disadvantage, and obviously will be very handicapped.
Right, absolutely. And Gulam, we're going to talk about this Bilawal Bhutto, but in a moment, Professor Bhardwaj, you know, in 2018, there was so much of optimism. You know, one gets while looking at the election scene in Pakistan. There was Imran Khan coming back. There was an anti-corruption plank. There was a lot of enthusiasm. But this time, strangely, the elections seem to be very muted. There's no buzz around it. You know, people don't seem to have that kind of energy around these elections. What do you make of this? Is it because of the economic downturn, or are there other reasons behind this?
I think this is one point is very clear, that the election is foregone conclusion.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, it is just repetition of what happened in 2018, the way Nawaz Sharif was out and the way Imran Khan was brought in.
Right.
This time, after the election, I think, you know, there are three stakeholders. One is PPP, another is PML, and the third is Tehreek-e-Taliban.
Right.
The army is playing very smartly. Munir is very smart person in a way. He wants to keep the key in his hand.
Right.
And there, I think so that the PML will be the largest party, and there will be, in fact, it would be hung parliament in a way.
With the
that
PPP.
PML will be the largest party, and then PPP, because the way the most campaigner who is doing campaign for last 2-3 weeks, I can say the Bilawal Bhutto, because Bilawal Bhutto did not have any space in 2018 election and 2013 election. So Bilawal Bhutto will be the second. And what would happen with the Tehreek-e-Insaf party?
Yes.
That because they do not have symbol, so their candidates will be contesting independently.
Right.
So once they will be independent, then army will and the Nawaz Sharif will manipulate them to bring with them.
Right.
So and once they will be there and support Nawaz Sharif will remain in power until after, because Nawaz Sharif is very tough fighter. He wants to have more power with the civilians. That was the main contention between the army and the Nawaz Sharif. So army and Nawaz Sharif, the tussle will go ahead, but how Nawaz Sharif will be powerful in civilians, that matters. But the most important point is that the army, you know, they are still very strong stakeholders in saving the country from economic crisis and all that, because the way Shahbaz Sharif put it, army chief in the number of councils and meetings and all that. It is because it is very challenging for Pakistan, for security reasons, Tehreek-e-Taliban, Afghan Taliban. There are environmental issues. There are economic issues, particularly inflation and the the devaluation of rupee. Rupee is very important.
Absolutely. Professor Bhardwaj, I'm going to bring in my colleague Gulam in on this. The point that you made about Bilawal Bhutto being the second, largest party in Pakistan, given the fact that PTI is literally out of this match. But Gulam, what's the long-term view on Bilawal? Given the fact that, I'm looking at him, he's 37 years old. He's half the age of both Nawaz Sharif and Imran Khan.
Yeah, Sandeep, I agree with you. While we know the result, the match is fixed, but the only thing that fascinates me about this election is Bilawal Zardari Bhutto.
Right.
He was just 19 when his mother was assassinated.
Yes.
He was, he has spent most of his time outside of Pakistan.
Right.
But then he came just after 3 days of his mother's assassination. He was elevated as the chairman of Pakistan People's Party. 3 years later, he in initial years after 2010 till 2010 he remained outside Pakistan. He preferred to complete his history degree from Oxford. Then he came back in 2010, and his father, the former president, we know he comes from the Zardari Bhutto family, which is very illustrious in Pakistan. And his father decided to do some renaming. He, changed his second name to Bilawal Zardari Bhutto. He wanted the Bhutto surname with him, because that will bring in, her mother's
bigger brand
charisma
recall
that her mother carried. And his first election was 2018, which he won. He was in the National Assembly, and he has been campaigning, as our guest rightly said. He has been campaigning. He is the most visible campaigner in these elections. But as we know, he was the foreign minister in the outgoing government. He has said recently that he won't continue to be the foreign minister if Nawaz Sharif wins the election. But again, he has been campaigning well. He is young. He is drawing crowds, and he is also one of the what we say, that he would preferably carry the legacy forward of.
They carry the Bhutto legacy forward. Ambassador Gupta, this Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, former foreign minister of Pakistan, is following in his grandfather's footsteps as taking the foreign ministry first before aspiring for higher office. What is the future of him? I mean, do you see him as a possible prime minister candidate sometime in the future, given the fact that he's only 37 years old?
Well, it is quite a possibility, because he's so young, and considering Pakistan's past record, we see that the military gets disenchanted after a couple of years with each of the party.
Right.
So I guess once they get disenchanted now with Nawaz Sharif, next time they try on Bilawal Bhutto. Why not?
Right. So it's just like a Swayamvar, Gulam? It's
remember in
elections
2018,
in Pakistan. Yes.
You remember 2018, military, Imran Khan benefited from our.
Yes, of course.
Look at now what has happened to PTI. They are not even contesting with their election
symbol.
as
Professor Bhardwaj said, just literally
they don't have that bad symbol.
They don't
Imran
have
Khan
the symbol,
is in the jail.
so they can pick all these candidates and bring them and form a.
One interesting thing about Bilawal is also, if you listen to his speeches,
yes.
he can't speak proper Urdu like his mother.
Right.
His Urdu is more anglicized. But yet, we need to see, can he, pass that barrier and become more popular as he.
Can he pass that barrier? Interesting. He'll be the politician to watch out from the future. Professor Bhardwaj?
I just want to add one very important point. You are putting Bilawal Bhutto is young, 37 years old, but don't forget Maryam Sharif. She is also becoming a star campaigner, and she will have a tough fight. This time in Pakistan, around 57 million people are young
voters. Absolutely. We were coming to that.
Yes, that's very interesting point, and that's why Bilawal Bhutto is could be one attraction, but the Maryam Sharif from PML would be another attraction.
Right.
And the interest would be there. If what happened after coming Nawaz Sharif into the picture, Imran Khan's popularity has not declined. He maintained it, but he doesn't have any space to contest the election. He lost the election symbol and all that. So election has gone to Maryam Sharif as well as Bilawal Bhutto. But how this would go, army will play very critical, very important role. They can also manipulate.
Right,
they can
absolutely.
Also
let's not forget this dynasty in India, but there's also political dynasties in Pakistan, and very interesting.
Except Imran Khan, both the parties are dynasties.
Except Imran, exactly. Imran is the outlier. We spoke about that a few days back, and whereas it's almost like a replay of the. It could be a replay in the future. The Nawaz Sharif and Benazir Bhutto contest will be played out in the next generation as well. But thank you very much, gentlemen, for your insights into Pakistan's fixed match. And Pakistan, as we said, goes into the elections on the 8th of February, and we kind of know what the results are. but it's always interesting to know the kind of, off the field play that's going on with the military and the future of Pakistan. The elections is something that we'll be looking at again very, very closely, because what happens in Pakistan has implications for India, and especially with the peace process and Jammu and Kashmir. Thanks for watching.
News 9 Plus. Download now.